Good morning, Azhar. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. What about you?
Yeah, I'm good too. Thank you so much for asking. So, can you tell me something about yourself?
Yeah, I will introduce myself. So my name is Azhar. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I have 6 plus of experience in the testing field. So I have experience both in the manual and the automation. So in the manual, I have 3 plus experience, and in the automation, I have around 3 years of experience in automation. Currently, I'm working the Bangalore company, so in the IT field. My current role, I'm working in the real estate domain. The project is the real estate domain. In my involvement in the role responsibilities to convert, because the project was previously was a fully manual, so I involved both in the manual and the automation, so converting the test cases into test script. So we are involved with the regression test suite for the automation test as any test suite. I'm involved in the daily scrum meetings and the sprint planning, uh, daily activities, and this is all reporting the bugs and so what were the activities for the testing. So I involved in all those activities.
Mhm. Right.
So actually I'm in the POC for the one particular model, so I am handling three members in my team.
Okay, you're handling three members. Okay. And let's say if any one of the member is on leave or he or she is not able to complete the task on time, then what steps do you take?
Mm. Yeah, we have taken the shadows. We have some other resources, some other models. So if it is really required for this one, for the any emergency for the release, then we can take from the other team. But it's not. Otherwise, we can manage if it is not this one emergency.
Okay. Now, when will you use HashMap and when will you use Hashtable?
HashMap is particularly using for the set to window handles. So
Mhm.
I use the HashMap in the sorting and the filter section. I have we have a model for the sorting of the tables, or maybe the filter of the this one sub filter section. There I use for the hash set with the stream and the method sort method, where we give the table name and we can use for the sorts.
Okay. Which one should we
I did not
prefer?
use for the filter.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not use for the filter application, but I use for the sorting
Okay,
of the
you are using
bullets.
for sorting. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
which one should we prefer to use? HashMap or Hashtable?
HashMap.
HashMap. And why
Yeah.
so?
No, HashMap I use for the window handles. For a hash table, I use for the sort.
Okay, okay. See,
Okay.
if you get this interview question, very first you should tell this point, like HashMap should be more preferable over Hashtable, right? In simple words, you can also say that HashMap would be used in unsynchronized or single-threaded applications, and then you can mention those examples. Now, why should we avoid using Hashtable? If you are not able to recall, then let me tell you that this particular class is now obsolete in latest JDK 1.8. So these things you can tell.
Okay.
So they'll come to know that you are updated. You have updated yourself as per these things as well. Okay. So
So most probably the HashMap, no?
hash map,
Probably the
definitely hash map is
okay.
always preferred over hash table. You were very right in that answer. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what is constructor chaining?
Constructor, right?
Mhm.
Constructor native one. Whenever we create the class, no, the parent class, any class, the constructor will be created by default.
Mhm.
So to get the it's by default constructor is created. So whenever we get the method of this parent class in the another child class, so we use this one to, with the help of the object, we can get the object of the parent class, method of the parent class.
Right,
So
right.
constructor, we can say, yeah, constructor is created by default, but we are creating the object of the class to get the methods.
Okay.
So
So this is about significance of using constructor, right?
yeah.
Now, now in interview, you might get this question, what is constructor chaining? Chaining. So constructor chaining is actually a technique of calling another constructor from one constructor. Okay.
Okay, like we are using in the base class, no? So we are we are creating and the same in the calling in the another classes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, can you tell me how you have implemented OOPS concepts like inheritance, abstraction is there, polymorphism?
Yeah.
how you have implemented these concepts in your Selenium automation.
Actually, I involved with the framework also. I'm not in the single, but I sometime I involved in the creating for the framework when we start with the project. So basically, we have five concept in the oops. First is the inheritance concept. Inheritance is nothing but where we use external keywords to inherit parent class into another class. So like we are in the inheritance, we can create as the base class for all the details of the driver details and the URL details, everything. Then we inheritance into another class. This is first concept to reduce the test cases. And the second is the abstraction, I can say, not abstraction. I will go with the encapsulation.
Mhm,
Encapsulation like creating the class of the parent and same thing and get the method calling the method in another class with the public and private. So if mark as the public, it will globally access to all the classes to get all the methods. So it will this one also reduce the repeating of the test cases over. So this is encapsulation. If we mark as the private, so it will be it will be execute only on the parent class only. Is based on the depend on the test cases. We can mark
correct.
private or variable or some. And next we go with the polymerism. Polymerism we have two types. One is the overloaded and overriding.
Mm,
Overloaded is nothing but whenever method name will be same, but argument or signature will be different. So I can give you an example. I use in my application is for the drop down. So we have taken drop down with the select class by index or maybe text value. If the
mhm,
argument is different, but I can use same method. This one, so I use current and I can go with the interface also. Interface is currently we are using in our frame for the listener class. We are
mhm,
forcefully implement to listener I test listener to get all our listen test cases. So and override I can say in the say override is nothing but to change the flow of the code implementation of code in the child class. So it will execute only effect on the child. If we change also, it won't affect for the parent code will not work in the child. So with the override we use, so I can give example is a screenshot where we are over implement the listener class. So but we are changing override for the screenshot if it is test case file, so we are overriding here. Abstraction also with the keywords we can use as the abstraction, but both are same only, abstraction and interface, but only different is abstraction of both body and without body that methods. So
mhm,
same thing with here also we can override with any time. So this,
correct.
so but we, and one more difference is the we cannot create class object for the abstract and interface, but we can create object for the inheritance classes.
Okay. Now, let's say you have got an Android application for testing, and you might be aware about fingerprint authentication, right? The moment
Yes.
we click on that mobile using thumb and it unlocks our mobile, right? So there is an Android application in which they have implemented, the dev team has implemented this feature of fingerprint authentication. Now, how will you test this particular feature? What are the test scenarios that are coming to your mind? Can you tell me the high level test scenarios?
Finger touch, you mean to say the test case for the finger touch, no?
Yeah, fingerprint authentication.
Finger, yeah, fingerprint.
Hmm,
Fingerprint authentication for the my first scenario should be the finger. Whenever we go for the fingerprints, so we first it will ask for the normal password where we for the anything that normal number of password, mobile password. I can say the before going to we put the thumbs, we they ask for the number also, because something if we are not work for the, if suppose we have because of the some sweat or some if it is wet, the finger wet now, the sometimes it's not works. So but for emergency we can use for the normal password also. Before first go with the, so it will ask for the, it will ask for the normal password first condition, because directly we can't get. And
hmm.
this is the
It
first scenario, right?
will it ask for the password? Let's say if it's in
Yeah, it will ask
fingerprint authentication, will it
yeah,
ask?
it will ask for the password. And
Mhm.
while executing, it will not ask for the password. But when we have, suppose we have first, we'll get the, while creating the thumb expression from
Okay,
authentication, first it asks for the password,
okay, for
because
that.
no, for emergency, if it does not, yeah, if it is not work, so we can go with the reset or something. So in
Correct.
the wet hand sometimes it's not work. This is the first
Mhm.
scenario. And
Right.
second scenario, we can thumb expression, maybe the we can check with the, well, half thumb expression authentication, full authentication, full thumb authentication, we can go with this one. Third, second, third we can thumb expression we can go with the while executing we can use with some other finger like right, we can use with the thumb right and left. We our main authentication was the right, but we can try with the left this one, and we can use some other friend's finger also to get whether it's working or not. So because it should be unique, my password should be a unique, so the temp expression also should be get unique, so we can check whether it's unique or not. This was scenario. This I can say this one only. So my password should throw while creating, and after, if it is not work for the more than 3 or 4 times, it will ask for the reset, whether I can go with the reset, or ask for the go with the password to open the mobile.
Right, right. So you covered test scenarios for fingerprint creation. At the time of creation, what would be
Yeah,
the flow? Then at the time of
yeah.
authentication also. Now, would you like to share some negative test cases? Let's say if you are trying
uh,
to, please, please go.
yeah, and for negative test case, if we are suppose that if we are trying, we can use with the wrong fingers. There is a wrong finger, the negative test case. We can try to open with the incorrect fingers. So touch with, and we can this one, and yeah, I can say what the getting
Right.
only one in
Then,
this
then one test scenario can be about the number of attempts mechanism. It should not allow you to
one.
attempt
Yeah,
for some more than XYZ attempts, something like that. Right?
yeah,
Depends on the count of this thing. Okay.
yeah, and give some seconds also. Once it is file the atom file, then you give some seconds to open again. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
finally it asks for the reset.
It will ask for the reset. Okay. Now you have joined from laptop, right? So
Yeah.
so can you write a Java program to find the number of occurrences every particular character is coming in the string interview?
So you mean to say number of words in the this one, right? So how many numbers are
Yeah, numbers
there?
are, I see, numbers are, I think it's a nine kind of words, alphabets in that string. But I want you to find the number of occurrences, how many times they are coming. Like I is coming twice,
Okay, okay, yeah, understand.
right?
So,
Yeah, yeah. E is
hmm,
coming twice, like that number of
hmm,
occurrences for every character in the string. Yeah.
okay,
So can you share your screen? Let me give you the rights
yeah,
as well.
sure.
Yeah, given.
You able to see my screen, right?
Yes, yes,
You able to
I'm
see my
able to
screen
see.
now?
Yes, yes, I'm able to see. Yeah, you have opened Notepad, right? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
You can maximize this Notepad application. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, first I will use for loop to get all those one.
Okay. Yeah, you can write the program first and then you can explain about the flow.
Uh, I think I'm a little bit confusing. Yeah. So
Okay.
mm, first I created one. I want to check the occurrence of this words. How many times my name is Azhar. So
Mm-hmm.
I created one count for the first to take the count of this one. How many times this is the count? I get the size. Then I, because this is a string noise, I use this method character of this ch and I.
Mm-hmm.
So I put one condition I is equal to up to I, and then a minus one, and then zero to get a space to reduce, because there is some space. Now sometimes I use this concept.
Mm-hmm.
So when I print, it should show 1 2 3 4.
Mm-hmm.
My is one, and his character is one.
Mm-hmm.
Ne- So I think, but I'm thinking it is considered as the taking as a full character, and it will show as for. I'm a little confusing.
Right, right, right. So over here, you can take string as interview. So that will, yeah, that is one level of complexity. So you can take
Okay,
just one string interview. Yeah, instead of
okay,
my name is, yeah, just, yeah, take one
uh,
string interview and now you can focus.
okay. I think this one is like
Yeah. Or else you can take a simple string, any string, like you can take elephant as also.
okay,
Let
like
me,
apple. Okay,
yeah, yeah, apple is also fine. Yeah.
yeah. So then it will be show as one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Okay. Now I was looking for the Java program in which we need the count of characters in the string. Let's say if over here in Apple, we are getting P twice.
okay,
So if your Java program can give that output of P which is coming twice. Okay. That I was expecting. Okay. Let me share my screen and show you. Just a second.
okay.
Yeah.
I to stop my option.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stop.
Stop sharing
I
it.
stop.
Let me share the thing. This screen is there. Okay. Now, basically, if you can see, there are many methods to achieve this kind of, I would say, output.
My code is correct or wrong? I think this is wrong.
Yeah, it was correct. It was partially correct, but partially we'll have
Okay,
to work on that. So I'll show you the various ways that are available. Okay, the very basic thing is about using this for loop, right? Let's say instead of
yes,
interview, if you take elephant as a string over here, okay.
okay,
Now integer count is equal to 0. So we are doing initializing this variable over
okay,
here, right? And we are
okay,
focusing on this particular character, how many
yes,
times it
yes,
is coming. Okay, so
okay,
this is, yeah, this is a very simple approach that you were also using, about using an if, sorry, for,
okay,
and within that we will be using if condition, right?
yes.
And at the end we will be using our assertion whether he is coming,
Two is okay.
yeah,
Is count okay as
coming
such
twice or
equal to
once. Okay, now this is the first approach, right? This thing using for loop.
okay,
Now you can also use this string utils method, in which you will get count matches to count the number of characters in the string, literal. Okay, so now our string is elephant, and we want to we want to use this particular method to get the count of this particular character in this string. Okay, so this is very simple, just two lines of code, count matches to count, right? Then,
oh yeah,
yeah, then you can also use,
strings,
yeah, streams and lambdas to implement the count. Okay, so this thing also you can use over here,
okay,
right? So these are the various methods. Still there are other two or three methods to use particular
yeah,
testing. In an interview, if you write this code, no, they will ask you which are the other ways of getting this output or achieving
so
the output. So you can show them that this is one of the other way, and this is the third manner we can also achieve using this, right? Similar like
okay,
this,
okay, yeah.
they will ask you. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen. Okay. Now, what is the difference between actions class and action class in Selenium?
Action class is get any of the mouse actions. So the mouse in the keyword section we can use as an action class for, I can say, for the drop. I use in my application for the drag, and we have option for the drag one element to drop in the one another element. So I use the drop action classes, and I go with the for send keys also. I can say this action class because it's a keyboard action. Send keys
Mhm,
we are using a very click dot click. These are all the mouse action dot click dot clear. These are also we use for the action class.
mhm. And what is action class used for?
Action class to perform the action of the mouse action. What so we use for the action class.
Right. So there is a difference between actions and action class. Right.
Okay.
So can you tell me the difference between?
Yeah, actions here is the interface. No actions, action class is the this one. Action is the uh, and action class is the where we have said no the dot click operation. These are the action classes. So we get with the variable we can create the object of this one. So with the variable get all the actions which is available in the methods in the classes in the actions. No actions. I'm no
Okay.
confusing with the action class and the actions.
No issues, no issues. See, this is a mock interview. Even if you get confused,
Okay.
I'm over here to give you the answer so that if this question comes to you in a real-time interview, you should
Okay.
be able to give that answer and then you are able to crack that interview. Okay.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
see, coming to this actions class, like
Okay.
ACTIONS, I'm including actions class. So it's based on a kind of builder design pattern. Okay. And
Okay.
what you were telling, no? And action is an interface then again, and it
Hmm.
represents a single user interaction click. Okay. It it is mostly used like we are using methods like perform, right? All those things are
Yeah.
used in action interface. While actions
That
class,
perform and that build, no? That
correct.
perform that builds. So I use for the drag and drop also.
Yeah. So this is the basic difference between actions class and action. And basically, action is not a class, but it's an interface. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Now, can you tell me the high level test scenarios for testing a mobile application? Let's say you get a mobile application to test. What will be the positive test scenarios and negative test scenarios?
High level if we main thing the build should be install and launch. This is the high first scenario of
Hmm.
anything when we're going to start with the it should be install successfully and launch the applications. So once it's over, then we go with the functional testing. So which is the feature first we go with the sanity overflows. I'm telling you now my we follow in our current company. So
Okay.
once we get the build, so we go with the sanity test, the sanity test level test scenarios. So once the test sanity test first, then we go for, we call as the full pass test. So we can go with the regular our test for functional test for the, any of the mobile applications. So we have either is Android, iOS. So sanity has to be checked first. Then once sanity first, then we go with the regression test. If it is any regression is there, or so otherwise we go with the full pass test.
Hmm.
So,
Correct.
yes.
Okay. Now, which are the mobile testing scenarios that come to your mind? Like how you will test that particular application in a very generic manner.
So you mean to say that you're asking for the particular models, or what? Suppose I
Yeah.
can say for
Any
the search.
yeah, any application is there which you have installed in
Okay.
your Android mobile, right?
Okay.
Now you have
Okay.
to test that app. So
Yes.
what would be the mobile testing scenarios? How will you test that particular application in the mobile?
Uh, right. So same thing. First we need to check with the installation and launch. Then
Hmm,
we have separate test cases for the sanity or whatever. We have separate test suite
hmm,
for the all the types of regression and this one. So we go with this one test suite which there is regression or with sanity or with say, smoke is so whatever the we go with this one. So main here it should be the mobile application. We have to check with the particular devices and the versions, and
hmm,
because main challenges we are facing in the current this one is the version issues, because we are testing in the particular version, maybe the 10 current going is the Android 11 version, so 10 and 11. So main problem challenging in the current version, and same with the iOS challenging is so version. So we can go with the main concentrate should be on the version based challenges. This one.
Mm-hmm.
So testing approach for the scenario is to be same. The launch and application should test whatever the function we are going to be the cover all the positive and negative case. So if
Mm-hmm.
I can say the high level for the login notes, if it is we can check with the positive that normal positive login test valid password and input. And suppose if we have to cover for the showstopper whether if it is main thing it is not working for the login itself that is showstopper. So we need to check with the log. We have there is some concept in our application to whenever we raise the bug no, so we need to take the logs of the whether it is Android or iOS. We go with the logs and Charles. We have API. We have some tools using Charles tools to get the response also. So we have to take that logs also, logs and report the bugs if it is showstopper. If it is not a showstopper, some something we can if it is there is no showstopper, but is go way for the means we can continue and bug write the bug for the priority in the priority manner. So this
Mm-hmm.
is the approach we are following.
Right, right. So this is the test approach. Then you can also add some of the test scenarios like how will the app look and feel will work, or how are you able to see the proper screen or proper data in the app when you use them in the auto rotate mode. Or let's say if there are another applications also opened in mobile and still this app is working fine. Now let's say you restart your mobile application and then you come again to this app. So is it working fine? Right? So this kind of
Okay,
test
like
scenario.
background and foreground. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, those things.
yeah,
And let's say if you can consider this thing as well. If any update has come to that application, and then if you relaunch it, is your data saved over there properly or not? The earlier data should not be lost, basically. This kind of
yeah. That's the
thing.
main scenario.
Now, how do you find XPath?
Expert we has one syntax with the tag name and attribute and with the value. So these are syntax of the to take the expert. So expert is there is two types of expert. One is the absolute and the relative. Absolute is the very is not a good thing to take for the absolute because there is so much get in future will get error. We suppose something changes in the website. So if we go for the relative, we have to take for the target on the first particular elements. So there is tag that's double slash with the tag name and attribute with the value.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Okay. Okay, Azhar, we are done with the interview. Do you have any questions for us?
No, so how that's how we're going to be get this one. So feedback.
Right, right.
So last two I was while in the this one cognizant because they asked one question which I had not expected. Uh, this no the ask for the code to write the code for the calendar picker. So
Mm-hmm.
those actually. So what? So I think when I go with the I'm using in the calendar picker also.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not expect this one because I long back I use for the if and love because they do one scenario. Today is the current date, so I want to select with the April month and the particular date they have asked me to write the code for the. Did not ask for the code. They are logic. They asked for the logic.
Logic.
So
Okay.
that so to take the time current pick.
Right, right.